Hine Matov, found on page 10.
Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
We continue on page 2 as we welcome Shabbat by increasing light in the world with the lighting and the blessing of Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we increase the sweetness in our lives with the Shabbat Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila,
L'mikra'e kodesh,
zecher litziat Mitzrayim.
ki
Manu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'v'ratzon hinechalatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. Let's read together on page 9, the middle of the page. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories, glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love, God. We turn now to pages 20 and 21 to welcome the Shabbat bride with Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'tihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, ve'rosh ikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Yitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori, uri, shir daveri, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
We rise for verse 9.
Boi v'shalom ha'ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela.
We continue on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
Bi'alma divarach irutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ubizman kari v'imeru.
Amen.
Yehei shemei rabba mevarach, le'alam u'le'almei almaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha. le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram ve'alma ve'imeru. Page 28 is our call to prayer, Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Avayeh. Page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue at the middle of page 3, responsively. Page 33. What did I say? Page 3? We're not going back that far. Page 33, responsively. You start. 3, 2, 1.
Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
Than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Pages 34 and 35, Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuta, Leolam Avayeh.
Please be seated, and we will continue on page 36 with the next paragraph of Shema. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha vidibarta bam vishivtecha bevetecha uvelechtecha vaderech uvishochbecha uvikumecha ukeshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchetavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkiruhu va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 39. Let's continue responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Page 40, Michamocha. Page 43, let's read together at the middle of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, Vishamru. We continue on page 46 as we rise to begin tefillah.
Adonai sifatai titach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Elohe Avraham, Elohe Yitzchak, Velohe Yaakov, Elohe Sarah, Elohe Rivka, Elohe Rachel, Velohe Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vehonei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, Umei Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lima'an Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Givurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memi, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Yalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch Atah Adonai, Sha'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. We pause for a few moments of quiet reflection, followed by Oseh Shalom, our prayer for peace on page 62. And Susie has chosen a melody by Debbie Friedman, whose yahrzeit we observed this week.
Oseh Shalom, B'marav Huya Oseh Shalom.
Page 253. We think of all who are in need of healing of body and spirit. Mi sheberach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech et hacholim Hakadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim alehem lahachalimam u'lerap otamu lahachzakam v'shlach lahem mehera refuah shalema min hashamayim refuat hanefesh u'refuat haguf hashta ba'galav izman kariv v'nomar Amen. We think especially of the following people: Alan Brockman, Dolores Brubaker, Dr. Sarah Chabon, Mike Carbone, Lauren Fairchild, Jason Foreman, Valerie Frank, Alex Goldstein, Clara Gilliams, Elizabeth Heider, Mary Kruckenberg, Ed Kruckenberg, Deborah LeBlanc, Kate Lane, Jody Lokshin, Judine Luntz, Chris Maurer, Rick Monsell, Alan Rothman, Monique Sayon, Pat Sherman, Mark Sirac, Sharon Smith, Kristen Spetich, Tom Stefan, Kelly Swab, Barbara Turkeltaub, David Waltz, Malka Wayne, Florence Weaver, Michelle Zimmerman, and Shana Rachel Bat Aryeh Belea Hinda. If there are others about whom you're thinking and would like to share their names for the prayer for healing, I invite you to share those now. We turn now to our prayers for Israel, beginning on page 259 and then page 374. Please rise. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'go alo. Barech, Barech, et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulateinu. Hagein Aleha be'evrat chasdecha, Uferos Aleha Sukat Shalomecha. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'go alo.
Come.
If your birthday or anniversary is in January, please come on down. Otherwise, have a seat. I have a list up here, so I know that one of you shares a birthday with Neil Diamond. Do you know which one it is?
What's his birthday?
Your birthday.
My birthday?
Yes.
I don't have his voice, though.
Your daughter does. Your daughter has a better voice.
That's true.
Turn around so everybody can see you. You're getting a year better, Scott Mandel. Everyone who comes for blessing knows that January is and even if it's not, it's the very first month. Last month we celebrated people who were tax deductions for their parents without having to expend any money for them during the calendar year. You were a gift to your parents, the gift that kept on taking for 12 full months. And my blessing for you is that you should start every year with the same kind of energy with which you began your first, so that whatever life may throw at you, and if this year at the start is how the world is going to continue for the next 12 months, next year you will be 10 years older than you are right now. And so will all of us. But at least you'll be the first ones to be able to celebrate when 2027 comes around in just another 10 years. January is indeed a wonderful month where sometimes it's 2 degrees below zero, sometimes it's 60 degrees, sometimes it's snow, sometimes it's slush, sometimes it's rain, sometimes it's ice. But everywhere that you go, Scott and Peggy and Karen, may you bring more light and more joy and more sweetness and more sustenance, just like the candles and the wine and the challah, so that you can be a blessing all year long. And let's all say, Mazel Tov, and we get to give them this blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God's light shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God's presence forever be lifted towards you, and may you be blessed with the gift of shalom. It's Karen's husband, Shalom. And Susie is going to sing to her mom and her mom's friends, and let's all join. Want a lolly? Help yourself. Is that all you want? You just want one? You want two? You want another one? Go ahead. Your choice. And one more thing. One of these people is celebrating a milestone birthday this week. You know who you are. And Peggy asked me a few months ago if she could have a Hebrew name for her milestone birthday. So I don't know if you've been up to your office yet this week. But your certificate is there, signed by me and Rabbi Spitzer. And in the spirit of my blessing for them, you should know that Peggy got to choose her own name. And she chose the Hebrew name Orit Simcha, which means light and happiness. And that's who she is. So Peggy is an expert on laughter and happiness and handwriting analysis, so don't send her birthday cards because you'll get more than you wanted in return. But may you this year, I'm not going to say what birthday it is, but let's say that it's more than what you think it is and less than what some of you think it is. And it's a milestone achievement, and Peggy, a year of joy and health and blessing to bring Ora v'Simcha, not just at Purim, but year long. Mazel tov.
Do they get the number of lollipops of their ages too?
Yes. Shabbat Shalom. This week, as we begin a new calendar year, we also begin a book of the Torah. Last week, we concluded the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis, and this week, we begin the book of Exodus, Shemot. And the book in Hebrew is called Shemot, which means names, but the story opens with people whose names are disappearing. We read at the beginning of the book of Shemot that a new Pharaoh arose in Egypt who did not know Joseph. Joseph's name and reputation had disappeared. And by this point in the Torah, the Israelites are no longer remembered as individuals, as people who contribute to society. They are no longer remembered by the Egyptians as their neighbors. The Israelites become not names, but a category. They become a problem and a threat. And we know that once people are reduced to something less than fully human, once people's names are erased, then cruelty moves from being possible to becoming policy. And the Torah is straightforward and honest about how this happens. It tells us right there at the beginning of Exodus that the descent into oppression did not begin with whips. It began with fear. The text tells us that Pharaoh thought the people are too many, and the Egyptians thought, what if these people who dwell among us should ally with our enemies and go to war against us? And we know throughout history and today that fear leads to suspicion, and suspicion leads to dehumanization. And dehumanization leads inevitably to violence. That pattern is ancient and it is contemporary. But Parashat Shemot is not only about the loss of people's names. It is about the quiet courage of people who refuse to let their and other names be erased. So notice in the book of Shemot, who resists Pharaoh first? We call this Torat Moshe, or the teaching of Moses. But Moses was not the first to resist Pharaoh. The first to resist Pharaoh was not prophet. The first to resist Pharaoh was not a plague from God. The first to resist were women whose names we almost miss if we don't pay attention to the Torah. Those women are Shifra and Puah, the midwives who were the first to defy the most powerful ruler on earth. The Torah tells us explicitly that Shifra and Puah resisted because they feared God. Not fear as being afraid, but fear as moral clarity. They knew who they were and they knew what was right, and because of that, they acted, refusing to carry out Pharaoh's edict to slaughter the firstborn. And then there is Yocheved, who hides her child, who would become Moses. And there is Miriam, who stands watch at the river. And there is, there is Pharaoh's daughter Batia, who sees not a Hebrew problem floating in the river, not a threat, but sees a crying baby. And each of these women chooses a relationship over an ideology of hate. They chose compassion over compliance. They teach us something about what it is to speak with God and to hear God long before Moses grows up and comes onto the scene as the hero of this story. These women speak quietly through their actions, and they teach us something essential from the Torah, that redemption does not begin with speeches. Redemption does not begin with giant acts. Redemption begins with paying attention and seeing and then doing. And Moses himself, if it wasn't for Shifra and Puah and Miriam and Yocheved and Batia, Moses would never have arisen. Moses would not have survived. And when we finally do meet Moses as an adult, he was not yet a leader. He was just someone who paid attention, who looked and who saw. He sought out his brothers and saw their suffering, the Torah tells us. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, and he could not look away, and he intervened. And the Torah is clear here as well, that leadership begins the moment someone refuses to normalize injustice. And that moment cost Moses everything in his life. He lost his home, he lost his status, he lost his security. And it is precisely because of his act of seeing that he was prepared for the burning bush, the motif on our ark. God did not choose Moses because Moses was eloquent or confident. He was neither. If you've ever been asked to step up to a leadership position and have refused, know you're in good company. Moses didn't want to lead the children of Israel either. But Moses did something extraordinary in the wilderness by stopping to pay attention to see a bush that burned unconsumed. Miriam and Yocheved and Batya and Shiphrah and Puah had the patience to wait out Pharaoh's decree and to defy it, and Moses had the patience to see that this bush, the strangest of all things, the most common thing in the desert, was different, and he could not ignore it. Moses saw suffering and could not ignore it. And there is another detail worth holding on to this Shabbat as well, that when God finally speaks to Moses, God says, "I have surely seen the suffering of my people. I have heard their cry," God says, "I know their pain." So it is not only the people in this story, but it is God as well who sees and hears and knows. So Parashat Shemot asks each of us, what do we see? Whose names do we remember? And whose suffering have we become accustomed to stepping around? We live, we know, in complicated times. We know that fear exists, we know there is uncertainty, and we also know that Jewish history reminds us what happens when fear goes unanswered by courage. Parashat Shemot does not ask each of us to be a hero. It does not ask us to be Moses. It does compel us, however, not to be Pharaoh. It asks us to be human, to see one another fully, to protect dignity, to refuse the language and the ideology that reduces people into problems, to remember that every person has a name and every person has a story. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that redemption does not begin at dramatic moments like the splitting of the Red Sea. Redemption begins with the crying of a child, when a midwife refuses an evil order, when someone rescues someone else physically or spiritually, when there is a bush that is burning and we pause to watch it. Next Friday night, in this room, we will commemorate the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday and reflect on what it means to be a part of a people. Martin Luther King is often compared to Moses, but I think he was more like Shiphrah and Puah and Miriam and Yocheved and Batya. Martin Luther King's inspiration is not for his time alone, and it is not just for the powerful. In fact, in his own lifetime, the powerful despised him. J. Edgar Hoover had a file on Martin Luther King. If Martin Luther King was alive today, he would be in jail. And the irony of everyone lauding him who worked vehemently to undo the progress that King made in his lifetime. King's fervor came not from speeches, that's what we remember him. But Martin Luther King was first and foremost a leader because he was a pastor who understood what it meant to live biblical values. His inspiration in his time was not for the powerful. It has been adopted by the powerful, but his message was for the powerless. It is eternal and universal, and his civil rights work on behalf of the disenfranchised and the vulnerable, primarily Black Americans, is rooted in the Jewish tradition from which his own Christian faith was launched. And next week in this room, and I hope that you will bring your friends and neighbors, we will hear from a member of our congregation, Courtney Johnson Benson, who will teach us what it means to belong to a people, both as a part of the Black people and a part of the Jewish people. We do not need heroes every day. What we need are ordinary people doing what should not be considered extraordinary things, but in extraordinary times, the courage that it takes to do something different is indeed extraordinary. So as we begin reading Exodus and Shemot, we're called to see clearly, to act compassionately, and to remember who we are. We are the people who are alive because Moses was pulled from the river. We are the people who were alive because Moses stopped and saw the burning bush and listened to God. We are the people who have Torah because Moses led our people out from slavery to freedom to be a messenger of freedom and peace for all humanity for all time. We're called to remember who we are, especially when the world forgets. Shabbat Shalom. It's my pleasure to invite our president, Barb Spira, to offer words of Shabbat greeting. And you give a birthday blessing for your mom as well.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Susie, for leading our music this Shabbat. Mazel tov to everyone celebrating birthdays and anniversaries this month. Please join us next Friday for our 39th annual MLK Shabbat service. Our speaker will be Courtney Johnson Benson, and we encourage you to bring your friends and neighbors. Be sure to sign up for our Sisterhood Hadash donor event. It's bingo night on January 24th, and you can register online via our Temple Israel website. As always, consult our website, weekly tidbits, and your service handout for more information about upcoming activities. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Barb. We will continue now on page 282. Page 282, as we rise before the open ark for Aleinu L'Shabach.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kiguye haratzot, velo samanu kemishvechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malachei hamachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nei
We continue on page 294. This Shabbat, as we prepare to read the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, remember the following people whose anniversaries of death occur this week: Ben Bagan, Robert L. Barnett, Max Bloom, Mildred Brown, Leon Kahn, Marty Feldstein, Blemma Feinsman, Florence B. Fleischer, Nathan Green, Victor Helling, Lee Hillman, Edith Hoffman, Saul Israel, Richard Levin, David H. Levinson, Barbara Gelb Lindy, Joe Malks, Dorothy Marlowe, Bessie Matthews, Gloria Tanya Miller, Robert Mintz, Richard Neupuff, Ralph Refkin, Solomon Rosenblatt, Harry Schoenberg, Goldie Sherman, Sally Siegel, Sam Stanford, Stanley Stein, George Stern, and Daryl Vanest. And we remember those who have died more recently: Helen Blocker, Bob Charlick, and Joe Schulze. If you have others whose names you would like to share or corrected pronunciations of names that I read, I invite you to share those now. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divarach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'le'omei almaya.
Yitvarach v'yishabach
V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Yaseh shalom d'mrumav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Please be seated. We began by increasing light and sweetness in our world, and we prepared to conclude our service by giving thanks to God for nourishment from the earth. And that means that it is time for what, Ada? An outfit change. She's wearing the Shabbat craft from last week. All right, Ada. You want to come help me do this blessing? What do you think is under there? Want to pull off the cover? Want to pull off the cover? Ta-da! Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. I don't know if everybody heard you, Ada. You want to make that noise again?
Oink, oink.
Let's hear it again.
Oink, oink. I'm a piggy.
You're a piggy.
I got a sweater on.
You got a piggy sweater on.
Look at
That means that somewhere there has to be somebody wearing a kosher cow shirt in a church just to balance the universe.
and then I have fun. then I have some.
Oh, you've got fur there, huh? And you have your breastplate?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an embarrassment of riches. We are going to conclude with Ma Yafeh Hayom, How Beautiful Is This Day, page 330.
Maya Vehayom Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Susie. Thank you. Please take lollipops as well so that I can get them back.
You sounded beautiful as usual. You know what sound an Israeli pig makes? Sound an Israeli cow makes? Hey, what sound does a cow make? How about a kitty cat? I'm tired. Chug, chug, chug. All right. Step away. Patty, check it out. Got it. We got Miss Little Piggy here. Is that adorable? Wink, wink.